It's the broadly entertaining podcast. We've got fun, games, and feminism coming right at you. Thanks for letting us entertain you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. I am Jamie, and I might not love your favorite sitcom. With me, as always, on this broadcasting journey is my business partner and closest friend, a truly talented woman who's great at introducing herself.
Damn straight I am. I'm great at it. Thank you, Jamie. I am Giana. And after 20-ish years, a bodily mystery has finally been solved. This is the Broadly Entertaining podcast for all you fembroads, them broads, and dude broads out there. Let's party!
I know I could use some good party time this week, and we have got so much to talk about. Let's skip the pregame and get right to the shots.
Oh, shit. We're doing shots?
I mean, conversationally speaking.
Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. Conversational shots, of course, obviously. Absolutely. Short and powerful and effective.
Yeah, if you like the taste, great. If not, it's only here for a minute before moving on to the next flavor. Okay, so I know I started this metaphor and should arguably be its biggest fan, but I think I'm done with it.
Funny you should put it that way, because I have been thinking about a conversation we had recently about things that we should quote unquote like, but just aren't that big a fan of, and thought that we could share a couple of them at least with our listeners.
Yeah, it can really feel like a major disclosure sometimes, sharing these things that you should like but don't.
Well, since I brought it up, I can certainly go first. Something that I should like, but definitely don't, is Bob Dylan. Ugh, not a big fan. I understand that his body of work is huge and that it contributed a lot to a movement that I dig. And there's so much about him that I should like, but the rambling too long of lyrics, and the common, not a big fan of his voice, has led me to be like, I'm just not a fan. I'll go Joni Mitchell any day. Oh, any day.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure Bob would be fine with that.
Me too.
You support Joni. That's fine. Bob Dylan does chainsaw commercials these days, so I think he's
Yeah.
That's my Bob Dylan fact for you.
And Joni Mitchell is pulling out of Spotify.
There you go. There you go. So there you go. That was, I will say, a brave first share, my musical friend. And I now feel safe enough to tell the world that even though I am Jewish and I am from New York and I love a good comedy, I think Seinfeld is overrated. And that is both the show and the comic, honestly.
Yeah, I could agree with you on the comic bit. I've only just gotten into Seinfeld because I would have agreed with you about that. I mean, no, I still agree with you. It's probably overrated, but I enjoy it a lot more now than I did. Mostly because the supporting cast,
who is amazing, Jason Alexander and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Love her
Can't
so
go
much.
wrong. Can't go wrong. And there are great episodes and funny moments and things that can be referenced and great, good stuff. But just not for me,
not
which
yours.
I'm sure Jerry's fine with. Is there anything else you're ready to admit to not liking?
Yes, this is a new development, but it's, a little difficult because of the business that you and I are in, perhaps, but I have grown out of the staying up very late Giana skin, and I am in a new Giana skin that likes to go to bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah, shed that old skin.
I just like to go to bed early these days, and that can be difficult when you're supposed to be the life of the party, or at least running the party until the party ends. But I'm still rocking, but just on most nights only till 9.
Yeah. And when you need to rock later, you bring it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm not the only broadly entertaining broad with a difficult dislike doing the kind of work that we do.
Mm. Yes, you got me there. You got me there. You know, we plan parties and I don't love balloons. And balloons feel synonymous with parties in a lot of ways. And I love childlike joy. And,
Mm-hmm.
seeing a toddler with a balloon, on one hand, it makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. And on the other hand, I'm like, oh, look, there's a little kid with disposable trash. Because that's how I see the world now. Because, you know, climate change and no planet B and all that warm, fuzzy stuff.
Yes.
So it's hard as an event planner, to it's good to find other ways to make a space pretty. And it's just hard to see balloons and be sad about it. But that is my truth.
That is your truth, and that is all you can live, my friend. And agreed. It can be very easy to bring a space up a notch in the decoration, world with a balloon. I understand people's impetus, but it's not worth it, man. When there's other things, it's not worth it. Small price to pay.
Yes. And we have found wastefulness to not even be a necessity
Mm-hmm.
for event planning and beautifying a space. We can make thoughtful choices and still create really memorable and meaningful experiences for people.
Absolutely, because setting those boundaries can actually be a really great way to spark some creativity, which is always needed when you're planning a party. And ultimately, the gathering isn't about the balloons, man. It's about the people. It's about the theme of, or not the theme, but it's about the people, It's about who's there and what you're celebrating.
Yeah, it can also be about the theme if there's a theme. You don't have to backtrack that. That's
Well,
all
I was
right.
worried that maybe somebody's like, well, what if it was a balloon theme?
Oh, well, that's a choice somebody made, isn't it? That is a choice that somebody made.
Yeah.
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 But you're right. You're right. It is about the people. And last month, you ran Broadly Entertaining's Women Mean Business event for female artists, business owners,
Mhm.
job havers, people that wanted to meet other people in Sullivan County, New York. And that was all
Yeah.
about human connection in a great space.
Yes, yes, it was. And we had insightful, wonderful panelists and a lot of fun, broadly entertaining, organized networking with two lovely ladies that I partnered with. It was our fourth Women Mean Business event as a company, but it was our first one that was held outside of New York City. And the first one that you weren't directly involved in, honestly.
Hmm. A bittersweet milestone, but it is one that inspires a little bit of nostalgia.
Ah.
Yeah, which means, friends, it's time to play a game.
I'm excited.
Yes,
Yay.
we are going to play a little game of broadly entertaining memory lane.
Stroll down memory lane.
Starting with the most recent Women Mean Business event and working back toward our very first one when Bee was just a little baby, we are going to pop quiz each other with 3 quick questions about each of those events.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way to celebrate ourselves and the amazing people that we have met and worked with. And
Mhm.
since you planned and hosted the most recent one, I am going to ask you questions first. Are you ready? Here they come.
I'm
Number
ready.
one, Women Mean Business, Sullivan County. Who were your panelists and what do they do? It's a two-part question. I cheated.
My panelists were Michelle Eaton, co-founder of Forthright, Cyder, and Mead, which is the venue that we held the event in. She's also a marketing professional by day, and I believe she's at Little Miss Sarcasm, which I really love that. I love that Instagram handle, but she's lovely. We had Miriam Rayevsky of JITTERBUG's Sights and Sounds in Livingston Manor, which is a toy store and music and art supplies and all sorts of stuff. It's a really awesome store, but also she's a great dear friend and a wonderful person in the community. Everybody knows her. And then we also had Jamie Helper, who has her own Botanicals business, and she's also a DJ and does DJing parties around town, and was a lovely person for me to meet for the very first time, actually, that day. It was awesome.
Yes, networking for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct, and I'm glad you remembered that
Yay,
and
me
know those
too.
people that you worked with. All right, question number 2, who provided the food?
Oh, the food was provided by the Walk-In in Livingston Manor, and they gave us so much stuff. And the Neon Croissant, it's the same owners, and they gave us these beautiful quiches that were like, I don't know how many inches that is, 5, 6 inches. I don't know how, but they were so deep and amazing. Plus, like bread and croissants and dips and all sorts of food. It was really amazing. It was delicious. It was delicious.
Yeah, every food you've mentioned so far is a food I hope I never have to live without.
Absolutely.
And finally, your final Sullivan County WMB question. What was the name of the organized networking shape you built with attendees? I hope that makes sense. I had trouble wording this question.
That was the human spectrogram, I believe, is the answer you are looking for, which
That
was
is.
the shape was just a straight line, and the attendees were basically picking a side. The first question I asked them was, I said, well, it's not a question, it's a statement, and you decide how much you agree or disagree with that statement and stand on the line. I posed, cats are a better pet than dogs. And it was pretty split, 50-50 actually, I think. But the strong opinions were, and then there's like a few people in the middle. But yeah, human spectrogram, the shape of a line.
Cool. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Now it's your turn to answer some questions, this time about our virtual Women Mean Business soiree from 2020. Number 1, what was the tagline we associated with this Women Mean Business event?
Women Mean Business, virtually connected. That was not it. That was definitely not it.
Not even close. No, it was the grunge luncheon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember that because we were going to do it in person. There was going to be live music. And
bonus, do you remember where we were going to do it in person?
I want to say the Ivy House in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's right. Here's number 2. What delicious cocktail did our friend Cam of Marlowe and Co. make for her RBG/Kamala cocktail? And I'll give you a hint. It was a homemade chai tea spiked with what
Whiskey?
liquor? Oh, close. But it was rum for Kamala. Yeah. You're doing great. I clearly made very hard questions. I'm sorry. I made very hard questions for you.
That's okay. You know what? If anyone out there was like, there's no way they haven't seen these questions yet, I'm pretty sure we have quashed that.
True. All right. So here's the last one. Who were our 2 panelists for the event?
Well, I know we had Joy Jan Jones performing live music.
Mm-hmm.
That's
me.
Not? Oh, and and we had Margot, who owns Sweets of Adversity, who was our snack provider.
Mm-hmm.
And
these 2 women that we had on the panel, we go to these 2 women a lot. Actually, these are very regular bee loves. One's a chef, and
I am bombing.
One's
Lauren,
a chef.
Is it
yes.
Lauren? Lauren Riddell. Okay, Chef Lauren Riddell.
And another is somebody else that we know that works with food in a charitable way.
Oh, and that would be Anika Forbes.
Yes.
Who helps run #LunchBag Brooklyn chapter.
Yeah.
And is a dental hygienist and is a dance teacher and just an amazing
A force of nature,
Yeah.
that woman.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Well, there we go. That was a long time ago, and a lot has happened since 2020.
That's true. That's true. This is still fun. I am still loving this stroll down memory lane, even if I am not doing well so far. I'm glad
Well, it's only going to get harder because they're getting further away. Exactly.
So let's move back in time once again to the previous, which I'm going to dive right into the questions, because the question is, in what Brooklyn business did we hold our first ticketed Women Mean Business event?
That was a place in the Fort Greene-ish area. Not Fort Greene. Fort Greene-ish area called Hudson Jane.
Hudson Jane in Clinton Hill.
Clinton Hill. God damn it.
On Myrtle Avenue. Yeah. Unfortunately, they are no longer in business. But they were an amazing partnership, a wonderful place to hold the event.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
Yeah. Number 2, what was included in the ticket outside of the networking?
We also had a panel-ish thing between the two, just the two of us, and maybe the owners of Hudson Jane too. Oh, and there was food because it was a restaurant. So it was, I remember maybe popcorn was on the list, but it was like appetizer-y type of stuff. And maybe a drink too.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It was bites, and then it was a glass of wine or a specialty cocktail that was made specifically for the event, which I won't quiz you on the name of because I couldn't find that information myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I have deleted a lot of emails that I think
Great.
Keep the inbox clear, but didn't know we were going to be doing this one day.
Yep. Here we are.
Okay. And your third question on this event is, do you remember what our panel topic was?
Oh. No.
Do you want to take a guess? I feel like it's pretty straightforward. You could.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to take a guess, and that is women marketing themselves.
Sure. You know what? I'm going to give you half a point for that one on this thing that we're not keeping points for. It was just basically the hurdles and successes as a woman in business, and we all just sort of shared things that have been good and things that were difficult that we worked past.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. I loved that event. That was a great one. But it does bring us to our very first women's networking event, and it was at my apartment in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Here we go with question number 1. It's a multiple choice.
Oh, yay!
The first Women Mean Business event held at my apartment was called something else. What was it? A, Broads in Business. B, Boozy Broads and Bites. C, Booze, Bites, and Badass Broads. Or D, Badass Broad Brigade.
Oh, that's fun. That definitely wasn't it, but that's fun. It's either B or C. I remember Booze and Bites and Broads. I think it was C because I think we would have steered away from assuming that everyone was a boozy broad and would just want them to know that there was booze involved if they wanted it.
Yes, you are correct. That is right. The answer is C. All right, number 2. Which of our 3 business colors did we push to the forefront when designing images for the first WMB event? And for those that don't know, our 3 business colors are purple, gold, and black.
I was going to say my instinct says purple. My instinct says that we leaned into purple because I feel like that was something we agreed on early on, and gold may have come in a little bit later. But I could also see gold being like, this is fun decorating with gold, but I'm going to go with purple.
Oh, it was indeed gold, and I'm gonna share with you. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, there's purple there.
There is purple, but it was definitely, I mean, of course there's purple everywhere, but we really pushed that gold. Look at that. That's beautiful.
And look at you. You only have 6 tabs open. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Our final question for this one, but I do have a bonus if you want it. When was the first WMB held in my apartment? Was it A, November 2017, B, January 2018, or C, September 2018?
Well, I'm going to knock C out of the way because we were already in business for a year at that point, and I feel pretty confident that we did this earlier on. In November of 2017 is when we got our LLC. So it seems like that would have been a reason to celebrate and bring people in and officially kick off the business. And then I'm trying to remember, like, if it were January, people would have had a lot of winter coats, most likely. And I'm not necessarily picturing people coming in with winter wear, which doesn't mean anything, but I'm not picturing it, so I'm going to say November 2017.
Sorry, it was January 2018. There was a tiny little clue in that image I shared with you.
I didn't look at the details.
Exactly. Yep, January 28th. I didn't even notice that. I was like, oh shit, I probably just gave her the answer. But that's okay. You were being honest. That's great. But yeah, it was January 2018, and we've been talking about this episode for a while, and I think we both have been assuming it was 2017, but it was actually just passed. Yep,
right.
Just passed. Do you want the bonus just for fun?
Sure, let me get another one wrong.
You're going to be great. What was the featured booze for our first WMB event? Was it A, champagne, B, shots, C, vodka cocktails?
Before you started reading any answers, I thought champagne because of celebration, but I also remember you pushing shots on people. So, but that image you just showed me was like a bubbly background. So I'm going to say champagne.
You're right.
Yay!
It was champagne. It was. Can't wait to share the next one. Our next Women Mead Business event in Sullivan County, at least, is on June 14th. It will be at our Sullivan County home base, Forthright, Cyder, and Mead again. And it's going to be really exciting and fun. I'm stoked. We're just in the planning stages now, and it's looking good.
Yes. And we will, of course, share an Eventbrite link in the show notes for anyone who is interested in checking it out or supporting other people's ability to attend. We do have pay it forward tickets. So if you would like to support people who are not financially able to attend, you can do that from no matter where you are. Yeah. Well, yay. We're about to wrap up this episode, but we have an exciting new thing that we are doing. Here's a word from our sponsors. Us.
Are you tired of corporate team building workshops led by people you never want to be on a team with?
Yes. I didn't know there was any other option.
Well, with Broadly Entertaining, you'll find fun, create connections, and produce partnerships, all while partying with the people you actually prefer to play with.
Team building and morale boosting with a wide variety of game and workshop options?
Yes. Visit broadlyentertaining.com to start the conversation today. Mention this podcast, and we'll take 10% off your total.
Wow, what a deal! I'll visit broadlyentertaining.com today to start planning my next co-worker team building get-together. I can't wait.
Broadly Entertaining, your hosts with the most. Ask about our corporate giving and donation matching opportunities to do good while having a good time. We are Broadly Entertaining. And now it is time for this month's installment of our signature segment, Be a Feminist.
Befeminist, a feminist.
Ooh,
Yeah, it fits.
It fits.
All right, everyone. I am going to kick it off this month by shouting out abortion funds. Mm-hmm. I scripted this because I don't want to forget any of it. So, local and regional abortion funds are organizations such as Texas Equal Access Fund, ARC Southeast, Yellowhammer Fund, Indigenous Women Rising, and so many more who have been fighting the good reproductive justice fight for years. You can find a full list through the National Network of Abortion Funds, and you can donate to or volunteer with these groups that have a direct impact on saving the lives of women in underserved communities and in states run by anti-choice radicals, because that's what they are. In addition to funding abortion care, they provide birth control options and education. They organize within their communities. They arrange rides, childcare, you name it, they know how to get it done. Planned Parenthood is important, but these local groups are absolutely crucial in the fight against the legalized mistreatment of women, people of color, and trans folks. Because the government can't end abortions. They can only end fair access to safe abortions, and we are not here for that.
No, we are
Most
not.
people are just not here for that.
No, they are not. Thank you, Jamie. Thought out, concise, a beer of conversation, perhaps, or a nice glass of wine of conversation, perhaps. Not a shot. It was, you did it. That was great. And speaking of women's health, that brings us to my Be a Feminist tidbit, and that is that I recently got diagnosed with endometriosis. I think that talking to people about it and spreading some more knowledge about it is only going to help us find causes and ways to help. So I'm putting it out there to stop the stigma and to continue it. So what is endometriosis? Not continue it. I don't want to continue endometriosis, but I do want to continue people looking for ways to cure it and support it. Nope. I'm not looking for people to support endometriosis as a shitty thing. What I'm looking for is for people to support organizations that are developing drugs and cures. So what is endometriosis? That's the question. Endometriosis is a condition where the tissues that are similar to the lining in the uterus, aka the endometrial stroma and glands, which should only be located within the uterus, are found in other places throughout the body. Usually right in the pelvic area is where you'll find them, but in some cases you can find it in the brain or the lungs, and it can cause a lot of issues because there are internal lesions that can cause scarring, and that forms small internal changes in the body that you can really feel, and it causes this discomfort. The symptoms of endometriosis are basically pain. It's just a lot of pain. You're living with chronic pain all the time, not just during period times, but sometimes during sexy times or after sexy times. There will be pain. It can be anywhere. Like mine is in my lower back. I get a lot of pain in my lower back all the time because of it. In general, it's acknowledged that an estimated 10% of all women during their reproductive years, which means from menstruation to menopause, are affected by endometriosis. And that equates to about 176 million women in the world. And the more staggering fact is that of that 176 million, 30 to 40% of them have fertility issues. So it's a really common and terrible situation that a lot have been sort of gaslit about their entire lives. I want to take this moment right now just to say that really painful periods are not normal. Really painful periods, the ones that make you not leave bed, or the ones that make you double over, or the ones that make you cry for hours, or the ones that make you take Advil every 2 hours, like 4 of them every 2 hours, just to be able to see straight. That is not normal. That is not normal periods. You're not just having a difficult period this month. You have to be strict with your doctors and come in knowledgeable. It took me 20 years to get a diagnosis. Even with my sister who has it and a mother who has it, I still had never gotten the diagnosis. And one of the reasons it's hard to diagnose is because you have to go in laparoscopically and get biopsied and all this stuff in order to get a technical diagnosis. But a lot of doctors now are diagnosing it just based on symptom reports. So report your symptoms, report them to your doctor, and stay on them. So that we can get more of these in the books, honestly, so that research can happen. There's a whole domino effect. Oh, and also get the mental health. Get the mental health if you can afford it. And if you can't, talk about it to friends and anybody that will listen, because it's been years and years of me begging doctors to hear me and it not being heard. And so there's a lot of trauma that needs to be unpacked there too. So get the help that you can. I'm here to talk to you. I'll talk to you about the endo. I'll do it. Just say it.
Aw, thanks. Thanks, Giana. I'm glad you got your diagnosis.
Me too.
And are hopefully on the way to a good recovery with less pain and more health and good mental health. That is a whole other thing we could talk about, but I hear you on that.
Yeah, entire episode.
Thank you for sharing. And thank you all, friends, for listening or watching. If you're watching us, we're putting this one on YouTube.
Oh, the tubes.
Thank you for supporting women, reproductive justice, and health. We appreciate you.
Check out the show notes for links, a transcript of this episode, or more information on broadly entertaining events and offerings mentioned in today's show.
The Broadly Entertaining podcast is written, produced, and edited by Giana DeGesso and Jamie Rossler of Broadly Entertaining. Theme music written and performed by Ms. Giana DeGesso.
If you like what we do, please rate, review, and follow us in your podcast feed, and share it with a friend. Come on, friends. You can Venmo a tip to broadly-entertaining, or click the support button at anchor.fm/broadly entertaining.
You can always find out more at broadlyentertaining.com and follow us on Instagram at Broadly Entertaining. I almost forgot. I didn't forget. Thanks for joining us, broads, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
A broadly entertaining podcast.
Okay.
So there's that.